Learn from the mistakes that others often make. Listen to marketing pains and don't go insane. Okay, so when it comes to creating a budget for your video project, there's really a whole conversation that needs to happen around this that involves your entire marketing team and your marketing thought process. All right, so as a video guy, my focus is video. It's really tempting for me to want to be like, let's spend all the money, let's get the big cameras, let's get the biggest lights, let's have a big fun crew, let's get the actors, all the things that as a creative are fun for me to dive into, that I just want to like dive head first into and do all the fun things that's going to spend all the money. But in the end, you could end up very disappointed if it doesn't fit into your entire marketing concept. There's a stat I recently heard that 68% of content created goes unused, which is a shocking number. That's a lot of money being wasted, a lot of time being wasted. The reason that is I think people really have this idea of what they want to create, but then they fail to factor in the entire cost of everything that goes into creating marketing collateral and actually creating a marketing plan. I've seen people get very excited about a video or a marketing idea, and then they do a first portion of it, but then they get busy with life and work and business, and then they don't have someone to actually post this or incorporate it into their web structure or their online platform. I did a project recently where we created a lot of content, and then we realized there wasn't a full plan for the Amazon aspect. It was an e-commerce brand. And so then we realized, oh shoot, we actually needed a different set of pictures. There was days of work to get everything incorporated to really make it look good and consistent on Amazon, along with how this was going to incorporate into their website. So make sure that you think about how you're going to use everything and not just a pretty picture you want to create. This is a couple things I think you need to think through when it comes to creating your budget and your strategy. Number one is, what is your goal? Are you trying to increase leads? Are you trying to get more subscribers for your YouTube channel? Are you trying to sell through your e-commerce brand? And so think about, what is your goal? That is the first thing you need to do. And you need to work backwards from it. The next thing is your strategy. Are you wanting like one crazy awesome video that's going to be a $30,000 to $100,000 video that's your main commercial? Or are you wanting to create 30 to 40 short videos that are something maybe more like this? They're going to go on social media or LinkedIn or something like that. Once you know your strategy, then you can, again, work backwards from that strategy to figure out how you need to budget. The next thing is, what is your infrastructure cost going to be? Okay, if you're going on a website, is your website ready to handle the content you're creating? If you're creating a training course, is it going on Kajabi or Teachable? What are the costs of those platforms going to be? And to get that activated and those sites live, do you need to hire programmers or graphic designers to get everything looking good so it's consistent across the course? I've seen this happen where someone creates a course and then they had this really idea they're going to make all this money, but then they didn't really have a concept of how to integrate that to their website. It ended up being very disjointed. What I had created for the video, because they didn't have clear instructions, was then we were trying to figure out how to incorporate that with their web, because there was no crossover conversation. They just said, hey, do this. And I did it because that's what they wanted me to do. And then once we got to the bigger picture, realized there wasn't a complete thought process on how to create the entire concept. So what is your infrastructure cost going to be? The next thing would be ad spend. If you are planning on doing an ad push behind the collateral you're creating, do you know how much you're going to spend and what your priority is on that? Are you going to do multiple platforms? How much are you planning on budgeting? Are you doing split testing? So do you need to create multiple ads and then split test those in different platforms to see which one performs the best? And then the final thing is basically work backwards. Once you know all these things, and then we can go backwards. Let's say, okay, you need one really awesome commercial, but your total budget for the year for marketing is $100,000. But you want to do a campaign quarterly. So you need to divide that up quarterly, because you want a different video each time to know what you have to spend. Because it'd be real easy to get excited, dump $20,000, $30,000 into a really awesome video, and then realize, oh shoot, this isn't actually the campaign we wanted, didn't work as well we wanted, so we need to rework this. But we just dumped a quarter or half of our budget into a really cool video when we probably should have spent maybe $3,000 to $5,000 on the video, done something a little bit simpler to see what worked, and that we had more money for ad spend. Now, as a video guy, you're probably like, Joel, shouldn't you just tell them to spend as much as humanly possible? The reason why I don't do that is because I want to see you succeed. If you succeed, then you're going to come back to me and we're going to do more work together. So there's a selfish aspect of this that I want to make sure that what we're doing really builds the business the way you want to build it. And I've learned over time that if you don't have that conversation at the beginning, then you're going to be disappointed. We're both going to be disappointed because you're not getting what you want. You're not creating the content and the growth that you're trying to get for your project. So always work backwards. Always think through what your total concept needs to be. As far as overall budgeting ideas, as far as budgeting numbers, I think Forbes says currently the average rate is between 5 to 10% of your overall marketing budget. That could be a really huge number for some of you. That's way more than you've ever spent before. I've seen companies that have spent no money and have a very large business because their marketing is basically going out, shaking hands. That's how they do their marketing. Then I've seen other people that they have a dedicated budget that's going towards marketing, and that's really how they're growing. They're doing all the things to really make their business grow. It's funny, I had a conversation with a company not too long ago, and they were doing well, but they really wanted to push to grow. They had never really marketed before. They had some decent growth, but they really wanted to grow exponentially. So they knew they needed some marketing to make that happen. So when we started throwing out numbers, what's your overall goal? What are you thinking here? And then we threw that number out 5 to 10%. It was like this shock to them. And they just dropped off the radar because I think they had never really thought through what they actually wanted. I think they were just thinking, we just want a new website, we want a video, we want to look cool, we want to grow. Boom. And I think that was as far as their brain had gone when it came to actually expanding their business and growing. And I see this on a regular basis of people that, again, you're looking at one aspect of your marketing and not the entire element. I like to say that marketing is a team sport. It really does require multiple people and multiple facets to make a whole marketing campaign work. To really push somewhere, whether it's you're doing Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, there's a lot of intelligence that needs to go behind that to make sure that what you're doing is effective and works long term. Also, marketing is definitely a marathon. Okay, I don't see any magic switch where you're going to push something and then it's going to grow. You can actually waste a ton of money if you try to dump something and try to make marketing move too fast. You end up wasting a lot of money because you're just trying to, like a race car. You ever seen a race car take off at the start line, like at a drag strip, and then the tires just spin, and they actually lose the race because they had too much tire spin? I'm not sure if you're into cars. Drag strip analogy. If that car can't get traction when it needs to go, then that's just a lot of wasted energy. It's better actually when it comes to marketing to get a slower start. Make sure that all of your components are matching and you're heading in the right direction you want to go, and that you are focused and can get to your goal, and then you can build towards it slowly. It's okay to do a big fast push, but just know it does cost more to do a big fast push, and you can end up losing money along the way. I'd much rather have a solid plan at the beginning to make sure we can hit the target in 3 to 6 months that you're trying to hit. Hope that makes sense. Hope that helps with your budgeting concept. Make sure you have that entire conversation before you get started, and let us know if we can help you in any way possible.
Marketing Pains is a Suited Studios production and can watch and listen on all major podcast outlets. Staves off the pain. Use only as directed. Get your prescription at looksuited.com.